What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Manny here. Welcome back to another demonetized live stream. We are back in all freshness, as you can see. I just hopped out of the shower. As I just posted in the comment section, things got a bit dense in the end here. We had a visit from two friends from Vienna, friends of mine from Vienna, actually, this weekend. And yeah, we did a couple of stuff together, and today was actually a dense day. I had to get done a lawn session, had to get done a cardio session, and I had to postpone that to the evening because the friends were still there. Now I had to get a post-workout meal and also had to take a shower and everything, and that took some time. So we delayed the start of the stream for 20 minutes. I hope you don't mind. How are you doing? How are you doing? How was your week? Let me know in the comment section. And also, if you're there already, please, the usual reminder, drop a like on the stream if you can. I would highly appreciate that. That way the stream gets a bit higher, ranked higher, and maybe a couple more people see it in the end. Okay, thanks a lot. That's appreciated. Man, awesome week. We had our first outdoor climbing session since the comeback. Isn't that amazing? Great stories, huh? Great stories. In fact, yesterday, during the Saturday, and was an amazing session. We went to the Grazer Bergland in a crag called Hurtlucken, which is now getting more and more into season, actually, because you have to know on this kind of crag there, it gets sun in the morning until 12 or something, and then the sun goes behind the mountain and it gets shade. So towards the evening, the conditions get better and better in the Hurtlucken, and you can actually climb there pretty nicely in the evening, which is what we did yesterday. And I tried. What did I try grade-wise? First of all, I did a super easy warm-up route, or relatively easy warm-up route. And then I tried a 7C. I checked it out, one go, and then second go, I could tick it. That was amazing. And actually, from the same start to the left, there goes another 7B plus / or something. And I could on-site this even. I mean, it had the same start, so I knew the start already, but I knew the start from other routes already as well, because this one has one start and then a couple of routes go away from the start, right? And in fact, it has a pretty interesting start. It has a start where you stand on a kind of a plateau, and then you have to lean out and jump away from the plateau completely into a more or less joggy big hold up there. And you have to hit it with both hands. You swing out like crazy, and this is, so to say, the double dyno start of all of these routes. Kind of crazy that natural rock produces this sometimes, but here it does, and it's kind of fun. It's a mental challenge every time again to kind of jump back into the nothing and just trust your abilities full force to hit that jog and manage to stick the dyno. So yeah, it was pretty cool to do this again. And I actually filmed some goes. Yeah, I filmed 2 goes, I think. One ascent, the ascent of the 7C, I got on camera, and the ascent of the 7B plus / C, I got on camera as well. So maybe I do a short little outdoor vlog or something like that. Would be cool, maybe. Let me know in the comment section if you would like to see that. Nothing special, just putting the camera down and having one 4K shot, filming the double dyno. That would be interesting, I think. Yeah, that was the first outdoor session since the great comeback. And I must say, the skin thing is still quite an issue. I still don't have this thick kind of calluses that you need for outdoor climbing, but it's coming back. I can feel it. Apart from that, we had a cool session on Tuesday, I think, on the 45er in the gym. And we had one hangboard session, actually, one pretty good hangboard session, which you maybe or not saw already on the main channel. The kind of both-handed hanging finger strength assessment that was done on, I think, on Thursday. So that was essentially the week training-wise. And of course, I had the obligatory cardio and lawn session today. Although I must say, I'm developing some kind of uncomfortableness in my right ankle. I think that's coming from all the jumping around on the lawn and from all the running, the cardio thing, It's a stimulus that my body is not quite used to at this point in time. So maybe I gave it a bit too much here in that regard, and now the right ankle gives me kind of this feedback. Okay, take it easy, So I just did 3 rounds around the property today, just 3.3 kilometers essentially, and no sprinting. I apply the same injury recovery strategy as I do with climbing. I don't stop completely, but I reduce the stimulus significantly so that I can work below pain threshold, and I expect the thing to heal up. Actually, I feel during the today running session, it already felt a bit better compared to last time. Yeah, so that's kind of going quite well as well. And then I did my calisthenics squat rows and that kind of stuff as well. That was today's program. And next week is going to be pretty interesting because next week the training load is going to be as high as it has never been before during this great comeback battle plan. The plan is to do 2 climbing sessions, whether that's indoors or outdoors, still not sure, 2 hangboard sessions, and 2 lawn sessions and 2 cardio sessions and 1 archery session, okay? A big bad plan is looking at me right there. I can see it on the drawer. It's gonna be intense, yeah? So let's see how we manage that with the ankle. If I'm in doubt, I will have to reduce the intensity on the ankle significantly and just have to go for 3 cardio rounds during these 2 cardio sessions and take it easy on the jumping during the lawn sessions, you know? Oh, it was going so good with the jumping. My rondat is so fast and so with so much momentum already that I have the feeling if I could get a good one, maybe I could already add a backflip to that, yeah? Which would be a pretty cool achievement for me because I never did a backflip on a lawn. I only did a backflip on some kind of springy grounds and stuff like that, where it's obviously quite a bit easier. But on the lawn where you have 0 jumping support essentially, there I feel it's quite hard. So yeah, maybe we get that still in this season. As you know, it's not getting easier with time. As the climbing picks up, we will have to spend more time with climbing and less time with the acrobatics and the calisthenics and all that. But we will see how this develops essentially. Yeah, the little one is now 8 weeks old. Another crazy thing, man. I reread up on what they should be able to do and stuff, and there is this kind of, she was able to hold her head up super early because I don't know, I feel like she's got quite a strong body but not such a big head, you know. So the head is quite lightweight relatively speaking to the rest of her body, and so she can move it around already pretty. She's super curious, always looking around and everything, so that's quite easy for her. And now actually today she learned how to rest on her elbows, you know, when she's laying there on the belly, and now she can rest on her elbows and look up like crazy already, and super curious, and she's moving her legs and everything. So it looks like she's not far away from crawling actually already. So that's going to be interesting when we have a little crawler around here. We will have to tidy up the room quite significantly more than we have now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, development is going, she's getting heavier and heavier. Super interesting to watch how all of this works together, you know, to produce a new human being. This is crazy nature and biology, you know, at work there, which you can see firsthand. So I would say enough small talk. Let me know how you do in these crazy times that we live in. How is your training going? How is your progress? Let's have a little hangout. I don't know if I can go for as long as I usually do because we started a bit later. Maybe we have to finish a bit earlier. Things got a bit dense. Let's get some cool questions done, I would say. Let's see. Music Scala is on the stream again. Amazing, man. How are you doing? Don't forget the Epic Stream Receptacle. You know what? I read this before I started the stream. If I wouldn't have read it, I would have forgot it. So I must thank you very much, Music Scala, for reminding me of the Epic Stream Receptacle, which we, of course, have on the stream again. Today we are rocking the Punti, again, as we promised in the thumbnail. Yeah, what we've got in there is a good old Föslauer mineral water. Yeah, if you're Austrian, you know this kind of stuff. It's pretty good mineral water, I would say. Tasting amazing. So thanks for reminding me about the live stream receptacle. This is why we have it here now. Climbing AC is on the stream again. What's up, man? I know the stream hasn't started yet, but already my first question. What do you want? When building a home wall, would you recommend a system board, symmetrical hole layout, or a spray wall? or simply a campus board? Well, I would say if you can, a spray wall would be cool. Yeah, a spray wall is always nice. The thing with the symmetrical wall, that's very tempting. Okay, I would love to just simply try out a symmetrical wall at some point for the hell of it, because I want to see how much the left-right imbalance that I have and most people have, actually, how it really impacts the climbing performance on, mirrored boulder problems. That would be amazing. If you can, if you have the space for it, get all three. Okay, get all three. That would be amazing, of course. But yeah, if I would have to choose in importance, I would go with a spray wall first, then a symmetrical wall, and then a campus board. Yeah, if you really have super little space, then you can go for a campus board because it's very narrow. I mean, a campus board doesn't need to be bigger than this, yeah, which is about maybe 40 centimeters. Yeah, 40 centimeters and a reasonable height. That's something that almost everybody has at home somewhere. Actually, yeah, if you're living in a super small flat, then the height of your ceiling might limit you there. But if you have a reasonable space somewhere, maybe on the countryside or somewhere, you can get this stuff done pretty easily. Yeah. So yeah, spray wall, symmetrical wall, and a campus board would be amazing. Matthias Ladstetter says, hey, any advice for projecting hard routes without leaving quick draws in the route if you don't get to the top? Do you recommend Maillon Rapid, something different? Yes. I mean, it depends. Yeah, it depends on what kind of bolts you have. There are rounded bolts, as you know. Sometimes there's glued bolts. The glued bolts are rounder. The bolts that you screw in are sharp. So you can't rappel down on a sharp bolt, obviously. That's going to be very painful for your rope and possibly even dangerous. So yeah, just don't do it. Yeah, if you know the technique, you can actually do it, because then you take a tuber up, you fiddle the rope through the bolt, fiddle it through, and then really rappel down on the bolt without moving the rope. Okay, this is a pretty good strategy if you just really can't do anything else and you have a tuber in your pocket and your partner can get you the tuber up. Yeah, so then you just simply take the rope, fiddle it through the sharp bolt until both ends reach the ground again. Obviously, you have to be, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have gone on the route if you hadn't had a short rope that is not long enough for this. Yeah. Anyway, so and then you can rappel down with a tuber from this bolt and get your quick draws that way. If you have a round bolt, then it's up to you. Some round bolts are pretty decent diameter. There you can actually just simply get the rope through and then let yourself be lowered down by your belayer, essentially. And if both of these options are nothing for you, then you can use a rapid Maillon. I'm not a fan of these. Why? Because you have to wear them always on your harness, and I'm just a complete low weight freak, as you know. Yeah, I don't like to carry anything with me that puts additional weight needlessly, unnecessarily onto my body. So I would avoid the Maillon. I would go for the first two strategies. The Maillon thing is still quite popular. I think this is something the people did in the older days. But yeah, again, then you lose 2-3 euros because a Maillon costs 2-3 euros. Plus, you have then a Maillon in this bolt, which is not cool for many reasons. Yeah, people who come after you then have to get this out, possibly to get their quick draw in. If they can get the quick draw in, it's always going to be in the way in some sort of way. Yeah. So, and also if you're on sighting, for example, and you see a Maillon coming at you, then you know that there's going to be the crux. Yeah, so it's kind of a bit on-sight ruining there. Yeah, these are all aspects that I don't like about Maillons. So I would go with the pure variant and do some of the first two options. Yeah. What about the Ketosis, man? Says Zentit H. Yeah, man, it's pretty interesting. I think I haven't really officially announced that yet, but let's talk about it, okay? I've been kind of planning this little comeback in in concordance, or I don't know how you should say it, with another little experiment that I wanted to do for a longer time. And this experiment involves eating basically zero carbohydrates. Yeah, there is a lot of rumors out there about zero carb diets and how good they not be because of health benefits and blah 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 blah. In my opinion, carbs are not necessarily the super devil. Okay, I've lived on carbs for basically 3 years almost exclusively. I ate nothing else almost, and I didn't fall apart. Obviously, I'm still here. Yeah, I survived it. So they can't at least kill you instantly. What could be the case is, of course, that this is not the healthiest thing to do. Yeah, it could be the case that it's burning your body through pretty much. But yeah, without going too much off the rails here about this topic, which is super deep again, yeah, I've been doing during this little comeback here now basically since over 3 weeks almost. I've been eating zero carbohydrates, absolutely zero. Yeah, zero exogenous carbohydrates entered my body. Yeah, maybe the one or the other hundredth of a gram or something. In a piece of meat in the form of glycogen, or I don't know, something. Maybe I costed a sip of beer sometimes, and beer has carbs as well, as you know, but really insignificant amounts. Yeah, because I wanted to see if it was able if my body was able to adapt to this kind of diet so much that I would get the same feeling as if I would have eaten carbs. You know what I mean? Does this make sense? Because the people who do this really describe this the adaptation process to this kind of diet as amazing. At the beginning, you should feel kind of sluggish and low energy and everything, but once you get adapted, right, once you get over the hill, this should feel amazing, and you should have just the same amount of power as you did with exogenous carbs in your diet. And this is something that I always point out. Yeah, carbs might be unhealthy for your teeth. They might be unhealthy for your digestive system. They might be unhealthy for your skin, for your hair, and so on and so forth. But what I think is almost undeniable is that in an athletic setting, yeah, from an athletic standpoint, carbs give you just simply an amazing power resource. Yeah, you've got some amazing power, you've got some amazing explosiveness after a high carb meal, something that I personally have never really experienced without these carbs. And to be honest, to be very honest with you, the first thing that I can pretty much say about this experience is just that I'm kind of lacking this form of explosiveness. Yeah, I really have a lot of mental clarity. The mental clarity is amazing. This is very explainable as well, because if you don't eat any carbs, then you don't get any rapid blood sugar spikes. That means you don't get any rapid blood sugar drops. And blood sugar spikes and blood sugar drops is something that can really, agitate your mind on the one side and then make you really tired on the other side. And what I feel now is an amazing level of constantness, yeah, which is, I think, something that body does quite well. Once you remove all exogenous carbs, it creates its own carbs from gluconeogenesis out of amino acids, essentially. And then it's just simply creating glucose when it needs it. Yeah. Interesting side experiment that I did in the context of this diet is I measured my ketones with the ketone sticks, yeah, as I did when I fasted and all the stuff. When I did my Mission 8B experiment, I measured my ketones, and interestingly, during the night, yeah, sometimes I go up during the night and take a piss, and then I measure my ketones during the night. Ketones are quite elevated; they are quite noticeable on the test strip. And then in the morning, without me eating anything, yeah, whatsoever, once I get up, once I feel, the energy kicking in from getting up, from the light and everything, the ketones disappear on the strip. Yeah, so I take my morning piss after waking up, lying in bed a little bit, playing with the little one a little bit and stuff like that, then getting to the toilet, taking my morning piss, no ketones. Yeah, without me having breakfast or anything. So that's funky, because apparently on this kind of diet, your ketones are elevated during the night, and they get more and more elevated the longer the night lasts. And then in the morning, when you wake up and you feel that energy kicking in from waking up, essentially, yeah, I mean, a lot of hormones are at play here. You see the light, and the melatonin goes down, and your wakeness hormones go up, or I don't know what you call it. But ketones disappear then, yeah. So the body has this kind of self-regulatory mechanism to get you the glucose from gluconeogenesis, probably, yeah, to kind of kickstart you in the morning. And then you're cruising on this level through the whole day. You don't interfere with it, essentially, with exogenous carbs, because you're simply not eating any exogenous carbs. And if you eat essentially only protein and fat, and I've been keeping it quite on the more protein side, I must say, because I wanted to see if my body does that. I have a slight suspicion here, yeah. All the people who do quite well on a zero exogenous carb diet, athletically speaking, they are closer on the protein side, I think, more on the protein side, because then you have this ability to create glucose from gluconeogenesis, and that way you have the punch in the gym, you have the punch on the wall, rock climbing, and that kind of stuff. If you lean more towards the fat side, well, then you're gonna have elevated ketones. You're gonna have a more towards ketosis leaning body. And ketosis is, in my experience, just simply not the best thing for athletic performance. Yeah, you would rather burn glucose than ketones. But that's just me. That's just rock climbing. Okay, there is ultra endurance runners out there who do this kind of stuff. They really like ketosis a lot, and I can very well imagine if you run intensities which do not exceed the aerobic threshold, yeah, where it gets into anaerobic power. Anaerobic power output can basically only happen with the fermentation of glucose, yeah. So once you get there in ketosis, you're gonna drop off. You're gonna simply drop off. It is physically impossible to run there without glucose. If you stay below that, though, because you're an ultra endurance runner, right, you just simply always stay in fat burning mode. Yeah, well, then why should ketosis not work for you? All these kind of thoughts go into this process, and I'm doing this experiment only for a bit over 3 weeks now. Let's see how long I pull it through. Yeah, I want to get into that zone, quote unquote, where I'm, quote unquote, fully adapted to it, whenever that may be. So far, I must say, the mental clarity is amazing. Teeth are amazing, as it usually is. You know, teeth get basically more and more amazing the less carbs you eat. This is very simple stuff. Hair are amazing. Skin is amazing as well. Yeah. And what is not so amazing is the real explosive power output. I feel that there I'm kind of lacking at some point. Yeah. But we will see how it develops. Interesting question, yeah? Scented age. Very short question, very long answer. I hope I didn't bore you too much. Gasmatab says, hey, yeah, what's up, Gasmatab? I know you. You are on the stream more often. Welcome back. Music Scholar says, he has a very shocking message for me, I think. Hey, Manny. For the next weeks, I won't be able to climb at all, not even in the gym. Shall I rest, even though I just restarted climbing 3 weeks ago? I feel all comeback boost will be gone again. Yeah, well, what is really your option? What is really your option if you can't climb at all? You just want to keep hangboarding at home, or what? I feel if that is the only thing you can do, I would rather rest completely, honestly. Yeah, even if you have to sacrifice the comeback boost for now, well, you can create another comeback boost probably next time once you come off that next rest. For the next weeks, yeah, I mean, maybe you rest another 4 weeks or something. Yeah, no big deal. What's a big deal is you keep hangboarding, and then you'll be weak despite that, because you just simply haven't climbed during that time. Yeah, so I don't know. Again, I'm more the kind of guy in this kind of context that leans towards resting completely in the meantime, because then you can exploit the comeback boost at least. Now, when you hangboard all the time, you're getting yourself into a hangboarding plateau, and what do you do then? You can change up the hangboarding routine to something else and try to push your numbers that way. it's gonna get boring at some point. If you're not able to climb and you just get hangboarding in, also at some point the body loses motivation because it loses the purpose of all this kind of stuff. Yeah, at least that's my experience. So I need at some point the real stuff. I need the real stuff at some point to remember myself why I'm actually doing all this crazy stuff. Yeah, why I'm doing all these crazy hangs and everything. That's my feeling. Yeah. But yeah, try your best, man. Go with your instinct. Go with your instinct. If you have the feeling that you could do a super nice hangboarding regime, if you do the hangboarding, yeah, then at least keep it measurable. Keep your progress measurable so that you stay motivated as you can be with only hangboarding. And try to simply push your numbers. Yeah, and once you plateau in one number, go to another number and push that number. This way, at least you stick to it. Istvan Ivansko, you are on the stream very often as well, man. Welcome back. Hey, Manny, love your live streams. Thanks, that is appreciated. It's the second time that I can listen to it live. Amazing. Welcome back, man. Gasmatab says, great comeback, mate. When the outdoor season is gonna end? Well, that's still a long time. What is the temperature that you'd consider too cold for the hands? Since keeping the body warm, I guess, is lesser of a problem. Yeah, the body is no problem. Really, the problem is the fingers, yeah? Especially with root climbing. And I can tell you why that is. Once the rock gets below a certain temperature, and this temperature for me, when it comes to root climbing, is around 9, 8, 7 degrees Celsius or something, then it's getting really spicy already. But there, unless you're climbing on a super limit project with super small holes, if you're having bigger holes, you have to stick your fingers deep into those jogs, into those good holes. And what happens is then you have a large contact area with the rock, and this means your finger is going to cool down super quickly because this rock has a very strong temperature potential. Yeah, it has a strong potential to suck warmth out of your fingers, which is not something bad necessarily if you want to have super good conditions. Yeah, but at some point it's becoming too much, and then you lose feeling in your fingertips. And once you lose feeling in your fingertips, you can't really climb anymore. Yeah, at least not at your limit. So for me, this kind of threshold when it comes to really high-end roots, high-end roots which are short and very small holded. These roots, obviously, you can also climb in very low temperatures. This is also why bouldering you can do at even lower temperatures because you have less single moves and you have very crappy holes usually. Yeah. But when it comes to root climbing, I would say, very little moves, little holes, 8, 9 degrees Celsius or something. There it's getting already really spicy. These conditions will probably arrive here in the geographical entity where I live now. They're gonna arrive in November, early December, something like that. Yeah, this is gonna be probably peak. But in the end, we never know. Yeah, maybe we've got an unusually cold winter. Maybe we've got an unusually warm winter. There's already been winters in Austria where you could basically climb excellently throughout the whole winter. Not a lot of snow, not a lot of moistness. I mean, also, if you get a lot of snow, then you get a sunny day and everything is getting drippy wet, because it's melting from above, and then you can't climb because of wetness. Yeah, this is something that you always have to calculate in winter as well, right? But when it comes to pure temperature things, that's what I would say. Yeah, 8, 9 degrees Celsius. This is very spicy, very good conditions where you don't want a lot of resting times. You want to zack, okay? Making project attempts after another. You're going to be fast. Switching belayers and everything is going to have to be fast. Then you can do it. Bouldering, obviously, you can degrees Celsius. I think, bouldered already in conditions like that. It's really spicy. I didn't like it. I'm actually the guy who leans more towards warmer conditions. I do not necessarily need these super cold conditions, at least not yet. I haven't needed them yet. Yeah, I've climbed my 8B boulder, which was the hardest boulder that I ever did. I think I climbed at 19 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so this was actually an unusually cold day during summer. And that's why I knew that this day was coming up from the weather forecast. This is why I had to dry fast, because I wanted to have peak performance on just exactly that day. And for something like this, the dry fasting conditioning is very efficient and very amazing. So keeping the body warm is not so much of a problem. You just simply can wear a decent jacket. Jordan Heller is on the stream again. What is up, man? Hey Manny, sadly, my country is probably going back to lockdown. Yeah, like a lot of countries do. Do you think I will get a comeback wave after the last one being around 4 months ago? Yeah, why not? Why not? Also, depending on how long the lockdown is going to last, right? Who knows what kind of crazy stuff they come up with. Yeah, maybe they say, oh, it's winter now, we have a second wave, we need to lock down everything because now the flu as well and everything, right? I don't know, man. If it doesn't take longer than 3 months, of course you're going to come back. You're also going to come back from 6 months resting completely. Yeah, you will always come back. The question is, how much time and effort do you have to invest then after your break to come back? Yeah, obviously the longer the break, the more you have to invest, but the greater your boost is going to be. So who knows? Yeah, obviously you're going to come back. Yeah, no question about it. You mean now that you only back into climbing for these few months since the last lockdown? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You should be back at your pretty much good, maybe not at your absolute limit, but you should have pretty good fitness in the meantime again. And that means that you can already basically take a reasonable rest again. Yeah. Matt Baird says, I did bouldering competitions from age 7 to 9. Wow, that's early. And basically stopped climbing until I was 21. That's interesting. I have been consistently climbing 4 to 5 days a week for the past 2 years. Do you think my early competitions has caused my body to be less injury prone? Could be. So I should try to push it harder in the gym. Man, it could be, but in the end, nobody really knows. Okay, maybe you're just not very injury prone in general, genetically speaking. Maybe you have short fingers, thick fingers. These people are usually not so injury prone in general. Who knows? Yeah, maybe it also was your first 2 early climbing years that you had. Gotta tell you a secret. I have a similar story. Actually, I climbed for the first time in my life at 7 years old or something, or 8 years old, something in elementary school. Yeah, I was in elementary school, and I was in this ÖAV, Österreichischer Alpenverein, Austrian Alpine Club climbing gym in Vienna. Super old school gym with a couple of basic rope climbing towers and a bit of one bouldering room or something where there was everything just sprayed on. You had to build your own problems essentially. And I was going there once a week for I think 1.5 hours, to just simply have some sort of sport, as parents like to do it with their elementary school kids. They want to put them into some kind of sport so that they don't get fat essentially, right? So that they just simply do something with their body, that they can make themselves tired, so that it's easier to put them into bed in the evening, essentially. So this is what I was doing, and I was doing this for like almost a year, I think 9-10 months or something. So this was actually my first rock climbing experience that I had in this kind of gym once a week and everything. And then I stopped that because, I don't know. I think after that I got into basketball in high school, which was pretty much, was pretty stupid. I mean, I was not bad in basketball, but I'm not a tall guy. So kind of a stupid path to choose. And then I got into the Taekwondo, kickboxing, Shaolin Kung Fu pathway. So this was my athletic career, so to say. But I had my very, very, very first rock climbing experience back in this very old school bouldering gym, or this old school rock climbing gym, I should say. But what do you really do? What, as an elementary school kid in these kind of kid groups, you really just playing games. You maybe hop on the wall here or there, not really training anything, right? So I'm not sure if that had an impact on my injury proneness nowadays. I don't really think so, to be honest. I don't really think so. You really have to start this thing super early, and then you have to pull it through so that it has an effect later on. At least that's my opinion now. Alexander Latinan, welcome back to the stream, man. Do you have any advice if you are a beginner on a 45-degree spray wall, how to start making your own problems? It's always too tempting to go for the color-coded problems. Yeah, make your own problems. I would say you go to this is how I did it back in the days and how I do it still on the 45er in the new 45er in Fürstenfeld. Okay, I go to the wall, I look at the middle section of the wall. In the middle section, I try to find 1-2 pretty hard moves. Yeah, just 1-2 pretty hard moves. Doesn't need to be a lot. Maybe some sort of dyno, maybe some sort of lock off, bad holds. Yeah, just one move combination essentially out of the moves. Bam, right hand, bam, left hand. Okay, this is what you need. This is the core of your boulder. And then you just simply try to find some sort of beginning and some sort of end for it. Simple as that. Okay, this can be a very effective strategy for building boulders on a spray wall in general. You just go to the middle section of the wall. You try to lift off on some really crappy holds. Try this one single move that you always been looking at anyway already. Yeah. So you want to be curious. You want to see how you can get this single move done. Yeah. And then you try it. Maybe you add a second pretty hard move, and then you already try to do 2 more moves to the top and 2 more moves in the beginning so that it's not so easy, yeah, so that you have already 2 moves in once you get to this crux. And then you already have yourself built a pretty cool project, usually. And then you can see, does it go down in one session? Well, then it was a little bit too easy, maybe. You want to get it a little bit harder, yeah? And there is no problem, I tell you this. I was always the happiest when I found a move that I didn't do in the first session, but I knew that it was possible in 2 or 3 sessions. Yeah, because then you found yourself something really at your limit. You actually don't want something that you can do in your first session. Yeah, I mean, depends on what you want to train, but in my opinion, a 45er spray wall is really for max power. And if you want to train max power, you have to really go to your limit. And sometimes I have the feeling that nowadays a lot of people think that at your limit means you can do it in one session, but this is the only thing that you could do during this session. Yeah, at your limit means you need 2-3 sessions for the single moves for all of them to be done. So if you build yourself a problem at the 45er and you find a single move that you might be able to do in 2-3 sessions, but you couldn't get it done in the first session, well, then you're looking at something that's maybe really at your limit. And then you find 2 moves for starting, 2 moves for ending, some decently hard moves. Yeah, nothing too crazy, because then it's becoming too hard. And if it's too hard, then you lose motivation for it, because it's still just an indoor boulder. Yeah, it can be super hard outdoors anyway, because then you have something that you can tick somewhere and you can put it in your pocket, and this is amazing. As I said, the climber, the outdoor climber, is essentially a collector. Yeah, he has the collector mindset. He wants to collect roots. He wants to collect problems. And this is something that we simply cannot get. We simply cannot have it from an indoor wall, because an indoor wall will be reset at some point. So if you're doing too hard stuff on the indoors, it's kind of questionable. Can you put the motivation to the wall to finish this stuff? Yeah, this is what I always had the problem. So for me, if I found something that took 2-3 sessions, that was amazing. It's just the right difficulty. And then what you can do is you take this problem and you write it down in a little notebook, or you maybe film it, or you put it down in some sort of database, so that you collect your problems as long as this kind of setting on this wall is up, and then you repeat them later on. And this is when you can get really strong, yeah, because you can repeat all these old problems. You can keep the specific muscle adaptation for these kind of problems throughout a longer time. And once they reset this wall, ideally, you're in a state where you can climb all the boulder problems that you did, that you invented during this kind of setting of the wall, that you can climb them if you wanted. Yeah, this is when you got the most out of this kind of wall setting that they put up. And then they have a new wall setting, and then everything starts from anew. Yeah. So this is the essentially how I would do it on a 45er, the process. Lucanthrope is on the stream again as well. Hey man, how are you doing? Ivansko says, what do you think about the mentality of the Austrian people towards foreigners who live and work in the country? Interesting question. Because I heard only bad things from friends until now. They couldn't really get Austrian friends. And what about specifically the climbing scene? Can one get climbing friends easily, or are also the climbers so closed as the other Austrian people, excepting you, of course? I'm Hungarian. Hungary is amazing. I was there. I actually started the trip to Greece in Hungary. Hungary is cool. It's just a bit flat. There's not a lot of climbing chance there, right? I'm Hungarian, but have been living in Switzerland for 5 years now, at the moment in Basel, but I'm considering to move to Austria because of the better working conditions as a dog. Really? You have better working conditions as a dog in Austria than in Switzerland? What I know is in Switzerland the salaries as a dog are crazy high. At least that's what I know from a friend of mine who went to Switzerland to earn some money as a doc. Yeah, he did his, I think his assistance, his 5 assistance years or something they have there in the Switzerland. And apparently you can take a mentor there, which is what he did. And so he has this kind of dude with whom he learns the stuff, and he gets, at the same time, he's getting a pretty good flat to live in and some pretty amazing salary, which is, of course, yeah, I mean, in Switzerland everything is super expensive, right? So you kind of get rid of some of that salary very easily as well. But in terms of working conditions, I didn't hear that it's so bad compared to Austria, at least. I don't know if it's a lot better in Austria. But anyway, coming back to your first question, mentality of the Austrian people towards foreigners. Well, what can I say, man? Yeah, and generally the mentality is, of course, questionable. Yeah, is Austria is a land of foreigners anyway. Yeah, so we always had foreign workers in Austria. That's just the history of the country. Essentially, this started back in the 80s, I think, with the Yugoslavian people who came and worked here. And then later on, there's came a lot of Turkish people. Yeah, a lot of foreigners all the time. The truth is that the Austrian people need this kind of people. Yeah, they need this working power. Why? Because Austrians are getting old and they get lazy. Yeah, they are not motivated to do the hard work themselves anymore. This is the truth. This is the truth, and this is why they import cheap working power to get these hard jobs done for themselves. Yeah. So what you describe here, being a dog and everything, you're gonna be, of course, in a completely different. I don't know, socio-economic level than all of these other workers anyway, to begin with. So I don't know if you're gonna struggle with the same problems as, for example, the Yugoslavian dude on the road who builds concrete on the road does. Okay, these kind of people, they have a harsh time, obviously, because they've got a tough job and the salary is not so great. But still, for them, being here and doing this kind of job gives them a lot more salary than they could earn at home. This is why they do it. Yeah, this is a question of profitability. But yeah, the Austrian mentality towards foreigners is simply, I mean, you have to understand, obviously, if a lot of people, I mean, if you go to Vienna nowadays, big city, there is very little room for identification with your own, okay, if you want to call it like that. And this is something that is surprisingly hard on the mentality of a people. Yeah. This is okay. We live in the days of multiculturalism and everything nowadays, so we would expect to be kind of used to that. The truth is, though, that we instinctively like to see our own. And if we don't like to see if we don't see our own, this kind of gives us some sort of issues. Yeah, this gives us identification issues. And here comes another truth. What then happens is essentially segregation of the people. Yeah, the foreigners segregate in their own little clusters, in their little communities, and the native population segregates in their little clusters and communities. And obviously, this only bears potential for conflict. Yeah. So this whole multiculturalism, amazing, we're gonna be so diverse, yoo-hoo. This is a nice story. The reality, though, is that instinctively speaking, this doesn't quite work out. Yeah. But as I said in the beginning, the Austrians need this kind of situation. Yeah, they have put themselves in this kind of situation themselves because they have a very low birth rate. Yeah, they do not. They have a very big problem with their pension system because the pensions of the old people nowadays get paid by the young people. But where are all these young people? They don't simply have enough young people for this kind of stuff anymore. Yeah, so here they have a problem. All the young people are going to uni, studying something useless, yeah, instead of doing the jobs that produce real values, like being a farmer or stuff like that. From time to time, maybe a son, inherits a farm from his dad, but most of these sons are at uni in some sort of big city. And what happens is that the farm goes either down, or another bigger farmer buys the land and runs his farming systems on this land and increases the farm. Yeah. So this is essentially how we have the process of monocrops more and more here in Austria as well. Yeah. So is this all a good development? No, obviously not. Yeah. It is reality, though. It is the truth. And obviously a lot of people are kind of pissed at this situation. And the number one scapegoat they have to be pissed at in this kind of situation is obviously the foreigners themselves. Although the truth is that they need them, yeah, for the system that they want to uphold. They want to enjoy this little golden cage that they have built up. Yeah, they want to enjoy the pensions and all that. That's the truth. So then they have to live with it. All the old people, they are cared by foreign people as well. Yeah, in the elder residences and everywhere, all the young people that take care of the old people are foreigners. The old people are kind of pissed about that because they can't really speak with them in their language. The foreigners are not, I don't know, of course they are not putting the super big effort in because they are just there to essentially earn more money than they could in their homes. Yeah, so this is essentially imported slavery. Yeah, that's the truth, man. When we really talk about it honestly, what happens here is that there is a lot of old people with a lot of money and a lot of younger people across the border with very, very little money, and they just simply buy their working power. Yeah, this is what happens, and we live in a world of profitability where we don't care about ethics or morals or whatnot. We just do this stuff because it's profitable. Yeah, in the end, that's what I can say. I think, That's what I can say. But this is all something that's really, if you're in a climbing center, then you're in a very open-minded and multiculturally tolerant setting already. And if you're a dog, as I said, then you're in a profession which is very open-minded and very multicultural as well. Probably everyone around you speaks English. Probably everyone around you can very well communicate with each other. Yeah, it's often the language barrier that really creates problems, and which really hinders people from identifying with one another. You know, if we all would speak the same language, everything would look already a little bit different. Yeah, but since we cannot really understand each other, this is where problems start. Yeah, this is a very deep topic, man. It's a very interesting and very deep topic. This stuff goes on in the world in a very, very very big extent, and we could talk about this for a long time. I hope I could give you some insight, from an Austrian myself. Fabian Rivero says, hello Manny, when you train, what is your main combustible motivation or discipline? My main combustible motivation or discipline? At the moment, it's maybe 60-40, I would say. 60% motivation and 40% discipline. And you know where the 40% discipline come from? From the freaking comeback battle plan, which is sticking there on the freaking drawer. Yeah, this is just such an amazing strategy, man. You gotta write things down and you gotta make your progress measurable. You gotta make it some sort of interactive. You gotta have to do your ticks, or I don't know, something that you can tick off. It feels just amazing. This is so motivating. This is also why I really like to make to-do lists. Yeah, to-do lists are amazing if you want to get stuff done during the day. And make every little crap count, okay? For example, you wake up in the morning, you look at your fingernails, you grab a to-do list and write down, I need to cut my fingernails. This is just a super stupid small thing you can do during the day, but because you can do it, guess what happens, okay? You're gonna sit down in front of your laptop, YouTube comes up, this super good looking YouTube video comes up, you click on the YouTube video, and you forget about all the things you wanted to do today. Yeah, but then there is this to-do list. And guess what? On a to-do list is not like first thing that stands there is not like go to the climbing gym and bang out a 3-hour session. Yeah, this is something hard to do. It's amazing if you can do it. But if you also have something like cutting your freaking fingernails on there, well, what you're gonna do is, okay, I can't do that. You're gonna put the laptop aside, you're gonna stand up, go to the freaking bathroom, you're gonna grab your freaking nail clipper and you clip your stupid little fingernails, okay? That's what you're gonna do. And then you're gonna come back to the freaking to-do list and you put a tick. And that feels amazing. And this gives you accomplishment momentum, okay? Accomplishment momentum is another term that I just made up, but sounds amazing, don't you think? Accomplishment momentum, and then you think, okay, now I got this stuff done. Let's look at the next point that stands on the to-do list. Bam, 3-hour session in the 45er. Now that I got this stuff done, I can do this stuff as well. Boom, and before you know it, you hop in the car and you get it done, okay? To-do lists and battle plans like this and interactive stuff that you can tick off, this gives you accomplishment momentum, and it is so helpful to get stuff done. And this is where you don't need so much discipline then, okay? You don't need to discipline yourself so much to do these stuffs, yeah? This kind of a trick is just a simple trick to get stuff done, to-do lists, amazing. And plans like this, which allow you to tick stuff off. But yeah, 60-40 motivation is of course really high at the moment because I know the season is coming up. It's still quite hot here in Austria, but there's already the first few colder days coming in. Yeah, autumn is really around the corner. The leaves are falling from the trees already. I can feel it, man. It's coming at us. Top conditions are coming at us. And this is why the motivation is quite high and the discipline is coming from the plan. I need to stick to it, man. I said it in the video. And now I can't back off. There's no going back now. David is on the stream again. What's up, man? Yo, Manny, do you think 9A will be possible for you anytime? Geh aus der Schweiz. Well, I hope so. I don't know. Yeah, we never know this kind of stuff. Who knows something in the future? Maybe we're gonna rip ourselves a pulley, or we're gonna rip a finger off, or I cut a finger off with a freaking bread knife or whatnot. And then all the 9A dreams are gone. Yeah, so of course this is not life dependent for me, but of course it would be cool. It would be cool to get it done. Yeah, so I was in terms of fitness already really close to this stuff. I already got onto 9A and only one move was missing. So we will see. Yeah, first of all, we're gonna complete the comeback battle plan and then we see where we stand. Outdoor grade speaking wise, holy crap. I'm throwing around with words today like crazy. Forgive me, my friends. Outdoor grade-wise, yesterday I had my first outdoor session since the comeback, and I did a 7C and a 7B+/C in a very short time, and it felt really great. Apart from the skin, okay, skin is still not really there, but that's normal. Yeah, we still have to get it back. But grade-wise, I was quite happy with that. I'd expected less. I'd expected less. I wanted to just do a couple of routes to get some outdoor moves in yesterday, and it turned out to be a nice session. Yeah. So we're making progress here, but we also have to be a bit careful. We don't want to hurt ourselves. We're going up like this, yeah, with the power now. Tendons and joints and everything need to keep up with this kind of development. So we better be a little bit careful. Yeah, we don't want to blow everything apart right away. Dante Loy says, "Hi Manny, hi Dante. I just moved to Vienna. Okay, cool. Welcome to Vienna, my friend. Do you have any recommended climbing gyms? Also, any outdoor climbing spots reachable without a car from Vienna?" Without a car from Vienna. Okay, first of all, good climbing gyms we have. Yeah, at the Karlsplatz, there is the Edelweiss Center. This is the old school bouldering gym where I started. In the meantime, they have a lot of color-coded problems and everything that new style bouldering gyms have as well. However, they still have a super good spray wall there. Yeah, so if you want to have, and they have a really nice campusboard there as well. If you're the kind of guy who likes a super good spray wall and a good campusboard and a good hangboard there for all that as well, but yeah, if you're serious about your stuff, then you have a hangboard at home anyway. Then you can go to the climbing gym in the Karlsplatz, the Edelweiss Center. Yeah, the spray wall is not sanded. It has a couple of super small hollowed holes. If the same guy sets this wall still, who set it back then when I was training there, it's going to be super good for training for the outdoors. I can very much recommend it. Outdoor climbing spots reachable without a car. Yes, you will have to use a train then. Yeah, in my experience, you will take your bike and you will use a train, and you can bike to certain spots. Yeah, and then there is a couple. I would look around honestly. With the community in these climbing gyms, often there's a couple of people going out regularly on the weekends, and then you can get a ride for sure, yeah, somewhere, and you can join simply a group and take the car. Yeah, it's a lot easier. There is some stuff reachable with public transport, but it's not so easy, and then you have to be careful that you catch your last bus in the evening and everything. It's getting a lot easier if you just simply have a ride. Yeah. So maybe you can. There's also, I'm sure there's forums in the internet where people can meet up and share a ride and everything. So I would look more into this stuff. Something that is reachable with just the bike and stuff, that's kind of rare when it comes to Vienna. Babs Soto says, "Do you ever still get scared while climbing, or is it a thing that goes away with experience? I find I often struggle with my mental game while sport climbing and being okay with taking big falls." Okay, listen, yesterday I was talking about my first outdoor session, yeah. I climbed this warm-up route, the 7, okay? That's, I don't know, 6B+/C or something. Not hard at all. I was climbing up, putting the quick draws on, reaching the anchor, putting the rope into the anchor, and all of a sudden I had to sit down into the harness. And I was noticing that this was something serious now. I had to sit down into the harness. I didn't have a lot of fear during the climbing because I was quite solid. I was feeling quite good. I was warmed up well. But once I had to sit down into this freaking harness, a slight little hint of fear was coming up. And this was the freaking 3 months or even more that I hadn't sat down into a freaking climbing harness. Sitting down into a freaking climbing harness is something completely unnatural. We are relying here on material that's going to provide us with safety. We are trusting our lives in that stuff. If this stuff fails now in this kind of moment, we're gone. We're falling down and we'll probably die. Yeah. And your body lets you feel that if it's not used to the fact that most of the time nothing bad happens. This is something that you experience when you do outdoor climbing regularly. You sit down in the harness, you jump into the harness, you have your falls, and you always learn, okay, nothing bad happens. If you throw that out of the window for 3 months, guess what? Sitting down into the freaking harness becomes a thing again. Yeah. Everything of these things becomes a thing again if you get out of the routine. These things are not natural, okay? They are not ingrained in our instincts, in our brains, like taking a piss or I don't know what else, yeah? So, yeah, sitting down into the harness was definitely a thing again. And then I was kind of standing there, and what I was finding it funny that I hesitated there for a little moment in time to sit down in the harness. And then I sat down, and my partner lowered me, and everything was just like it was all the time. And afterwards, I hopped into the 7C, where there was this crazy double dyno starting jump, and with only one draw-in, and that was no problem again. Then, yeah, no problem. It was kind of a funny starting jump. Yeah, maybe I make a little video about it. I got it on camera. But just saying here, these things are routine, man. Just because you're routinely away from that fear of falling already, that doesn't mean that you've erased it out of your mind completely. These things creep back in if you just don't do them for long enough. Yeah. So yes, I do still feel fear at some point. I just need to take a bigger break, and I have a lot of fear again. Yeah. And obviously, if I'm on a new project where I haven't had the specific falls yet, where I haven't had the specific experience yet with the route, yeah, of course you're afraid there, and this is very healthy. This is very natural and healthy. You should be careful if you don't have experience with the falls there. Yeah. Once you get in the routine and you train all these falls, yeah, of course, then you get then it starts feeling different and starts feeling better. Yeah. Interesting stuff, man. Ishvan Ivansko says, I did the ketogenic diet for a couple of years. Wow. I read tons of studies, and I'm quite confident that it's really healthy. Yeah, okay. But I did much hard endurance sport that time and ate too few fat, not too much protein. I really can notice your mental clarity. You speak even faster as usually. You know what? This is very true. With the live streams, it's becoming really apparent. The stableness of the blood sugar and everything, talking like this, being able to string sentences together and thinking in the back of my head already about the next stuff that I want to say and all that, the next questions I want to answer, reading and talking at the same time, this kind of stuff, all the mental stuff, also playing chess, also playing the guitar, for example. Playing the guitar works like a breeze, man. The mental thing is amazing, I must say. The mental thing is very good, very much better compared to having blood sugar spikes up and down all the time. Yeah. With the physical performance, this is where I have my issues. I'm not quite sure if it's really the best, yeah? Especially with quick, explosive stuff like climbing or even bouldering. When it comes to the big endurance stuff, I can imagine. I read tons of studies, and I'm quite confident that it's really healthy. For me, the true ketogenic diet, where you're in deep ketosis all the time, which means that you have elevated ketone levels all the time and you can track these ketones in your urine all the time, I'm not so convinced simply from a logical perspective that this is healthy long term, because ketosis is for me only something that the body does as kind of a last resort if it needs to fast, right? This is a very fasting mimicking diet. You're basically mimicking fasting all the time, and fasting itself should only last for a, short time period. Naturally speaking, in nature, we wouldn't fast simply for 30 days because for the heck of it or something. No, we would eat. Yeah, the fight for calories is real out in nature, and we would eat when we can. Which means that we wouldn't be in ketosis, yeah, when we can. Because even if you are a freaking hunter-gatherer and you slay down a freaking mammoth, what you eat is also the lean meat. And when you get enough lean calories in, you're not going to be in ketosis because you're going to have the ability to synthesize carbs out of gluconeogenesis, and the body just simply tends to do that. this is also my experience that I have now, yeah, eating basically zero carbs. I'm not in ketosis. I'm not in ketosis, and I couldn't sit here in front of you that way, talking like that, if I was in ketosis, I think. I think my brain now works very well, more or less, with a mixture of glucose and probably a little bit of ketones as well, because I'm in a very probably, no, to be honest, I'm not even in a very little state of ketosis, at least according to my test strips. Yeah, but I could imagine that I am in a very little state of ketosis, and my kidneys are a little bit more able to hold back these ketones now, since they are more adapted to it, and I don't pee them out so much anymore. But during the night, I actually do pee them out, and I do see them on the test strips. Yeah, so they are there and they are measurable. But I think that now I'm talking with glucose. I'm working with glucose pretty much now. Then I go to sleep. And as I said, I think during sleep, gluconeogenesis goes down, ketogenesis goes up. And we work with more ketones during the sleep. And maybe this is the natural state of the human being as it should be. Just a little elevated ketones during the night, but then gluconeogenesis throughout the day. But still, even for this kind of strategy, I am still lacking a big punch, I must say, during my workouts. It could be a bit better. I remember back in the carb days, there was a significant difference. Yeah, I'm also a bit chubbier and everything, as this kind of as a not high carb vegan guy who's shredded to the bones. You carry a little bit more fat on you, which again, I think from a health perspective is actually a lot better. But yeah, from an athletic performance point of view, not so ideal. Yeah. So I'm actually pretty curious what I will have to do to actually get back into those really 110% athletic performance, which is what's going to be necessary for doing the great goal. And then we might have to utilize carbs again. But we will see. Maybe there's going to be the big change, which they all talk about, the big adaptation to ketosis or to gluconeogenesis or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, everything works like a breeze, and I keep continuing on this diet, and I will crush everything. And also, athletic performance is going to be amazing. Pure health markers are pretty good, I must say. Yeah, talking skin, talking teeth, libido, mental clarity, all that stuff. Yeah. Michael Punkoshar says, a while ago, I learned about clinical ketogenic diet, where you carb up every few days. It should combine the best of both carb and keto diets. That sounds interesting. Okay. Cyclical ketogenic diet. Sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah. I can tell you something that definitely doesn't work, and that is the almost zero carb diet, which is what I was doing before I then finally decided, okay, I'm going to do zero carb. For a couple of weeks, I think 2-3 weeks or something, I was doing very little carb because I wanted to, I wanted to see how it works and everything, but I still wanted to drink all my nice milkshakes and that kind of stuff. But the funny thing is, it seems to be that way, that if you already eat a lot of like animal products and meat and zero carb foods, the body really likes that stuff, and the body really likes to adapt full force to that stuff. And if you throw in a little carb snack here and there, you're always completely kicking him out of that. Yeah, because then he needs to process first these exogenous carbs, as it seems. And you're kicking him out of this ability to synthesize this stable blood sugar that he wants himself anyway. Yeah. So there, I was really struggling with energy levels and mood and everything, because I was almost there kind of, and always throwing myself out again full force with these little carb snacks. And only once I got rid of that, and also, by the way, got rid of fresh dairy. I mean, I've got access to pretty good raw dairy here. Yeah. There is a milk automat. Drink this on a zero carb diet because there is quite a lot of lactose in there. Yeah, and lactose is a carb. It's gonna kick you out of this kind of process. So what you can do is, of course, you can let it ferment. You can let the carbs be fermented out of the milk. Then you have a zero carb milk, so to say. But that's not so appetizing and everything. So I thought, okay, let's get rid of the dairy. And then I felt really good. Then I felt the benefits that I have now, which is super stable mental clarity and stable blood sugar and everything. Yeah. So you really have to get rid of all the carbs if you want to experience this kind of stuff. With the cyclic ketogenic diet, I have the feeling, then I would kick myself out cyclically of this process again, and I'm not so sure if that would be ideal. Yeah. Guys, we're already 1 hour and 10 minutes into the stream. Thanks for all the interesting questions, I must say. If you're enjoying it, you could do me a favor and drop a like on the stream. That would be very much appreciated, because then we can get the stream ranked a little higher in the algorithms and some people are going to see it. That would be awesome. Thanks so much. Jordan Heller is here. What do you think about doping in climbing? How much would it help? And do you think high-level climbers do it? Also, my climbing shoes wore out. What should I buy for mainly indoor bouldering? Okay, yeah, doping in climbing. There is the creatine question. Creatine gives you some power, but also makes you heavy. It's kind of, does it pay off? I'm not sure. Some people say yes, some people say no. There is, of course, all these things with doping where you could theoretically increase your training load during the training times and to then have better recovery, to then perform better in performance times. The fact is, I don't know. The fact is, I simply don't know whether they use something or not. There's a couple of people getting caught for THC and stuff like that, which is obviously, doesn't really count for doping in my opinion. But anyway, so this occurs. But as far as I know, there hasn't been a really significant doping case yet in climbing where somebody really shot for something that increases your performance, like EPO or growth hormones or testosterone or I don't know if is that even on the blacklist. I don't know, but serious drugs like that, I don't think that they use it, because simply it's not paying off yet. There is not enough prize money in this sport. Yeah, as this sport is going to become more and more profitable, more and more people will tend to do it. Another very good argument is that actually a lot of doping happens in the non-professional world with a lot of sports. Yeah, and climbing is no exception here. Probably there's a lot of people who experiment with stuff in the non-professional realm, and this could be very well a thing. I would be more curious, to be honest with you, what kind of conditioning strategies they do for these competitions. Yeah, because what I can see is that these people are shredded to the bones when they compete, and they look quite different. I mean, most of them are shredded to the bones all the time. Don't get me wrong. If you see them in real life, actually, eyes to eyes, face to face, you will. It doesn't look that much. It doesn't look that extreme on camera, on video. But when you see them face to face, you're gonna see, whoa, these guys are shredded to the bones. They look like marathoners. Yeah. So what I would be curious about is how they maintain this kind of physique all year long, whether they do it actually and maintain it all year long, or whether they tweak things around, around competitions to become even lighter, to shed that few grams of water weight, what they do kind of diet-wise, or maybe they take laxatives or whatever else they do. Yeah, this is stuff that I would be interested in, because I think this is something that is very well done, also in the professional realm. Actually less probably in the non-professional realm, because these things are they take quite a lot of discipline. Something like only eating like zero fat and only carbs with veggies or something the days before competition. This takes quite a lot of discipline, and usually with discipline the elite athletes are a bit better than compared to the non-elite athletes, because they really want it. So I would be curious what they kind of do for this kind of really high performance conditioning, because I'm 100% sure that they are aware of it. They just never talk about it. Yeah, because, and it's very, very, very well understandable. It looks a lot cooler if you just simply win a comp without any conditioning whatsoever. Yeah, if you then come out and say, I did this eating strategy, and then I did this warming up strategy and conditioned this way, and then it looks like you've gone through a lot of effort to win this now. And it kind of lessens your achievement a bit. Yeah, the guy who just cruises in and doesn't really care about anything and wins always looks cooler. And looking cool in climbing is just something that's very important. Let's be honest about that. Yeah, even the pros will agree with that. Being the cool guy is still something when it comes to climbing. So they don't talk about that a lot. This is one of the first questions that I would ask a pro if I had ever made an interview with a pro. What about conditioning? What about performance conditioning? What about, I mean, for a competition? What about conditioning for a project, for a limit project? Hello, do you have a brother? No, I'm an only child. This is Christian Gamer Pro. Christian Gamer Pro. Welcome to the stream. Music Scala, hey Manny, do you have interest in some sort of technology, IT, flying to Mars? I know you like more the nature side of things, but isn't it amazing what humans can do? It is. It is amazing what humans can do. Yeah, every technology is a double-edged sword. Yeah, every technology is also a crutch. I've said this in the previous stream, but there is quite a lot of evidence that probably our ancestors who had a lot less technology, I mean, I'm talking about those ancestors who still went through the forest with spears and bow and arrow, okay? These guys were probably pretty fit and pretty intelligent as well. And they had already their artsy stuffs. They had some things to make music on and everything. Just very, very simple stuff. They needed to orient themselves in this world full of forest and full of coldness as well in the Ice Age and whatnot. Okay, these people were tough as nails. Okay, super fit, very intelligent people, very in line with nature. And then we've got technology. Technology allowed us to become weaker. Yeah? It allowed us to become lazier. It allowed us to lose these senses for nature. It allowed us to sit back and eat potato chips and watch TV all the time. This is what technology did to us. So yeah, it's cool that we have technology to do things like flying to the moon and shoot rockets into space. That's all fun and games. That's nice. I'm not sure if the positive side of technology really outweighs the negative sides. Yeah, technology can be amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's also fun. It's good brain work. Yeah, it's cool. It's just simply cool to look at a freaking cell membrane under an electron microscope. I will agree with that. This is stuff that I did when I studied biology back in the days. Yeah, it's cool to do that. Also, if I'm honest with you, of course, you don't need to degenerate because of technology. Yeah? You can have the best of both worlds. You can be really fit and healthy and have the technology on top of that, yeah? If you have a little discipline and everything. I just feel that every little piece of new technology also is a crutch. Yeah? We have to be careful how we use it, and we should think more about how is this gonna make us even weaker. How is it going to make us even more vulnerable? Is it going to impact our health even more? Most of these technologies are a double-edged sword, especially when we're talking about the digital stuff, yeah, the internet, this kind of thing, because that really clinges us to a PC and makes us sit down, makes us become lazy, makes us waste time. Yeah. The algorithms, they become smarter and smarter. They know more and more about you. They know more and more how they can trap your attention and how they can, waste even more of your time. So these are essential professional killers out there. Yeah, the AI of the big social networks. They are out there to catch your time and waste your time like crazy. And they kill, if you would accumulate this lifetime that they waste every day, they kill a lot of people every day. Yeah, they kill a lot of people every day. So be careful out there. Use technology wisely. Not everything is for your greater good. It's maybe fun to play around with it, but not everything is for your greater good, okay? Be wise about these things. With nature, it's a bit, nature is always honest. Yeah, nature, that's what I like about it. Nature plays with open cards. Nature is brutal and not kind, and it is really survival of the fittest. Can you get enough calories? Can you procure enough calories? but it's also honest like that. Yeah. I thought about this one day, and I came up with this saying a bit like, what was it? Nature is competition in honesty, and civilization is competition in dishonesty. Yeah, this is a bit how I feel about this stuff. And this is why I like nature. Yeah? I like all the brutal things about it, and I also like all the beautiful things about it. This contrast is really what makes it amazing. This is the beauty of it. Yeah? Too often we shy away from the brutal stuff and everything. We don't want to see it. We don't want to look at it. This is stuff that is part of the game as much as all the beautiful stuff. Yeah. Last time someone talked about what about to do in bad times, how to stay positive and everything. Well, bad times, without bad times, there wouldn't be any good times, right? We always need contrast, and contrast is out there in nature. I feel like that it's more the civilization that tends towards blending everything together into one gray mass. Yeah? This is civilization. Out there in nature, everything is full of contrast and full of life and full of death and full of suffering and full of joy. It's amazing like that. Gasmatab says, are you still into martial arts? Just had a wall bag session today. Wow, that sounds good. Punching WT style. What is WT style, man? Getting those Shaolin bone strength might as well be injury prevention for bouldering. Wow, yeah, cool. I'm still into martial arts. Yeah, recently I got a couple of acrobatic sessions done on the lawn, and I kicked a bit around and did a couple of kicks, jumping around like that. That was a lot of fun, but I'm not training anything repeatedly and consequently at the moment. And I'm just doing it occasionally if I have the motivation, if I have the time, jumping around a little bit and maybe kicking around a bit. But apart from that, I don't do any sparring at the moment. I don't do any training in that direction. Maybe I should. Yeah, I really liked this stuff actually all the time. Was always cool stuff, the martial arts. Clark Swallow says, bro, you look like you've been awake for 6 weeks. Yeah, man, that fits it quite well, actually. No, it's just the lighting that I always use for this kind of live streams. It kind of irritates my eyes a bit for some reason, who knows. But yeah, sleep has been quite impacted due to the little one. Okay, if I wake up during the night 3 times because of the little one, it's a good night. Yeah, the bad nights are more like 5 times and everything. So the little one sleeps in our room. She sleeps in our bed. Yeah, this is how we want to do it, because then she can feel she can feel that we close. She's not afraid and everything. But yeah, she wants to eat during the night, for example, as well. Yeah, these little children, they want to survive, and they let you know. They let you know, man. They let you know. Jesse Otten says, you're wearing a really nice tank top, mate. Oh, thanks, man. It's the one that I wear all the time, basically. Sean Ramses says, hey, man, it would be super cool to see this route with the double dyno. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna make a little video about this, I think. Little outdoor vlog next week. Maybe a little Thursday video or something. Let's see what I do with the material. Okay, well, now we got a couple of interesting stories. Your ears are fake. Maybe. Secondhand smoking kills 2 Marlboro. Calm down with the amphetamines, dude. Jesus. Fake biceps. Man, the amphetamines. Stay away from the amphetamines, man. But I actually never took this stuff, to be honest. To be completely honest with you. Got a couple of trolls on here. That's amazing. Usually I never get trolls. Welcome to the stream, my little trolls. Last night. Martin, servus Manny, how would you train endurance on a hangboard? I'm getting quite good at bouldering, but I always feel weak during rope climbing. Shingles aus OÖ. Yo, Martin. Endurance on a hangboard. Well, repeaters, okay. Repeaters is essentially endurance on a hangboard. This is power endurance on a hangboard, essentially. Go for that. Yeah, repeaters. I've made a couple of videos about repeaters and encores on the main channel. You can check them out and try them out. This is really what gets you into the heart pump, you know. It's good stuff. You better watch your words, David. Don't call me troll. We've got bots. We've got bots? Do you think so? Man. Gasmatab says, eating zero carbs. Sounds like you're switching to meat and dairy only. Or do you eat soy then? What about the veggies? Don't you consider the vitamins to be necessary? Apparently they aren't. Okay, apparently they aren't. You know what? Sometimes I drip a little lemon juice into my mineral water. Yeah, that's basically all in. Let me think shortly so that I don't lie to you. But I think that's basically everything from the plant kingdom that I've had over the past 3 weeks. And I'm still working pretty good, I must say. I'm working pretty well, yeah? So it's not like you're falling apart if you stop eating your veggies or you stop eating your fruits. Not at all. In fact, in a number of areas, as I've talked previously about it, you're working quite well, yeah? Without the blood sugar spikes, without the blood sugar drops, and so on and so forth. So yeah, the veggies are really a thing that are propagated by the ketogenic dieters a lot. They like to eat a lot of fat and they like to eat a lot of veggies and stuff like that. I am leaning more towards the zero fiber, zero carbs. I mean, fiber is also a kind of carb. It's just a carbohydrate that we cannot digest enzymatically. But in fact, our microbiome can, if we have the right microbiome for it, we actually can digest carbs. We can ferment it. That's when you get a little bit gassy from fiber, I should say. Sorry if I missaid it with carbs now. But yeah, if you have the right microbiome, you can actually ferment fiber and create short-chain fatty acids from that, which you then can take up into your body and actually utilize. So it's not like you can necessarily get no calories from fiber. Not all of the fiber you eat is going to be pooed out in the same way if you have these kind of little bugs in you who can ferment fiber. Yeah. But do you need this? Probably not really, because I didn't eat any veggies. I didn't eat any fruit over the past couple of weeks, and I'm still working pretty okay, I must say. Yeah. Also, there is zero stuffed nose, yeah, zero stuffed sinuses, and all this kind of stuff. I feel like I'm miles away from the next sickness, from the next flu or sneezing or cough or something like that. I'm just constant, man, functioning constantly over the last couple of weeks. And even before that already, because as I said, I already made quite low carb experiments before that. But I had the feeling there I was struggling a little bit with energy, because always when I had a little carb snack, when I had a little carb exception, I would kick myself out of this process. And I've realized now that this is a sign of my body wanting to actually starting to utilize these meats and everything 100%. But I was still kicking it out all of the time with the exogenous carbs. Yeah, this is what I stopped now, and now everything works perfectly fine. Apart from the athletic performance, could be a little bit more punch there. Yeah, but maybe we get into that as well. We will see. Don't you consider the vitamins to be necessary? No. Also, apparently, you need a lot less vitamin C if you just simply don't eat any carbs, yeah? Which is why a lot of wild fruit, if it is not domesticated, has crazy amounts of vitamin C and very little amounts of carbs, actually. these fruits out there, these little berries, the raspberries and whatever else is out there, it is very little sugar. It is sweet, but it's very little sugar and tons of vitamin C. So in the wild, nature tries to compensate for the carbs that it gives you by bribing you to eat it, to spread its seeds with your poop. It at least gives you tons of vitamin C to be able to utilize and process these carbs. The problem that we have nowadays is actually that we eat a ton of carbs and very, very little vitamin C, because obviously they did not scale up the vitamin C in an amount that they did with the carbs, with the sugars, with their domestication of the fruits, essentially. So this is all these stuffs that are, why are the Inuit not getting scurvy? They eat zero vitamin C and still survive quite well. And then there is the people who say, yeah, but they only are 30 years old. They die at 30. No, not true at all. There is 80, 90, 100 years old Inuits out there. If you look at people who actually lived with them and everything, if they don't at some point break a leg or fall into the ice water or have an accident like that, which is, of course, they live a very harsh life. Yeah, this can happen to them. If something like this doesn't occur to them, they get very old. Yeah, still, and they live relatively disease-free. Yeah, so all these stuffs are kind of. You should read a book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, first of all. Then you should read a book called The Fat of the Land, which deals with the whole Inuit topic exclusively. Yeah, these are an amazing kind of people. And then you realize, in wild communities, in living naturally, humans living naturally, carbs at most play a supplementary role. Yeah, this is not what their diet is based on. Their diet is usually based on animal foods, fresh from the wild. They even eat some raw animal foods from time to time. Yeah, they don't shy away from raw animal foods as well. They don't shy away from organs. They eat a lot nose to tail. They eat a lot of seafood if they have access to it. And this builds these very robust and very resilient, disease-resistant bodies that they have. In our civilizations, we have a lot more problems with disease-ridden bodies. And guess what? We also eat a lot more carbohydrates. We have made in these civilizations carbohydrates amazingly accessible, more accessible as they ever have been before. Yeah, more accessible as they could ever have been in nature. Because in nature, there's only fiber. There is not a lot of starch and a lot of sugar accessible to a human being like us. There's only fiber, which is incredibly accessible. But guess what? You need to be a ruminant to be able to ferment these amounts of fibers so that you can actually create so many short-chain fatty acids that you can create a huge ruminant body out of that. Yeah. So there's different animals adapted to different kind of diets. And it seems to be that we are more leaning towards a carnivorous diet. And if we have access to a certain kind of carbs, like fresh fruits, nothing too sweet, okay, maybe there is this one tuber growing in the ground on this island or something. Yeah, well, then we pick this tuber sometimes and cook it up and have a little starchy meal. But this is not by all means what we build our bodies up with. And this is why these people have no tooth decay. They have all their teeth in their mouth when they die. They don't suffer essentially the degenerative diseases that we suffer nowadays in these civilizations. This is interesting to see that. Yeah. I had some keto phases, but only ate dead food then. I need my steamed veggies now. Also, too much proteins make me fart like a cow all day. I don't have this experience at all. Bloating and all that, digestive issues are at an all-time minimum on this kind of diet. This I must really say. Do you supplement, by the way? No, I don't supplement anything. I just eat my meat, the occasional fermented dairy, sometimes the occasional lactose-free cheese. And with lactose-free cheese, I don't mean lactose-free in terms of processed and the lactose taken out. No, they just simply let the milk ferment and make cheese out of that. And this cheese then is naturally, traditionally lactose-free. Yeah, like Parmigiano or Grana Padano or something Italian like that. Yeah. Also, usually the mountain cheeses that you can get here in Austria, the excellent stuff from raw milk, this is also usually lactose free. Yeah. So there's lactose free cheeses naturally, and these ones, that's what I'm going for if I have the one or the other bit of dairy here and there. But as I said, I'm mostly off the dairy for now, simply because I wanted to have a as pure as possible experiment, and I feel that's working quite well. Ivan Ivansko says, what is your strategy to deal with nervosity before an attempt and also during climbing? Breathing. Breathing is the best, man. Breathe slow and repeatedly and consistently and consequently. Breathe your nervosity away. Yeah. Works all the time. Works every time. Works also if you want to talk to a pretty girl. Yeah. Works all the time. Istvan Ivanko says, we already answered this. Have you ever done any sport multi-pitch routes? Smarnka is back on the stream. What's up, man? Sport multi-pitch routes. Yes, I did. One on the Hohe Land, I think, which is in Lower Austria. Pretty cool stuff, actually. And apart from that, I did some alpine stuff, but it wasn't really, it was not, what's the word? It was not bolted in sport climbing wise. Yeah, there was usually in this alpine setting crazy big distances between the bolts, and probably you should have carried some sort of traditional gear, some tread climbing gear to put into slots and everything. But at this time, I think we didn't, because also I think the route was pretty easy. Yes, super easy for our skill niveau at least. We just wanted to get some alpine stuff done, and we tried this easy route, and But I never used tread gear on an alpine setting so far, and I don't have a lot of alpine experience in general, and I don't have any tread climbing experience. Yeah, so this is stuff that's still for me quite in the dark. Maybe we're gonna check it out at some point. What is your opinion on black humor? Are you offended by all the 9/11 jokes? Dude, I am not offended by anything. Being offended by something lies in the person who is offended, okay? By saying something, you can't offend me anymore. I mean, I have a YouTube channel with 86,000 subscribers. I've received all kind of messages, okay? You can't offend me with saying something anymore. And I always find it funny when people say, oh, how can you say that? That offends me. No, it doesn't. It doesn't offend you. You are deciding to be offended by this, okay? Nothing that saying something cannot really offend anybody. The person who is offended decided that he is going to be offended by this. Yeah, this is always a choice in the person who is offended, in my opinion. You can be offended by a physical assault, of course, yeah. I mean, this is stuff that you can't really argue that away. Yeah, this is. Still though, if you're a freaking Shaolin monk and you're sitting in this crazy torture chamber, and they try to torture you, and you're in this kind of, you already in out of your body experience and everything, well, then you cannot be offended by this, yeah. But just to give a kind of perspective here, not even the physical assaults and everything need to be necessarily offending to you, yeah. And what somebody else says about you, we live in the internet age, man. You have to be able to take criticism. You have to be able to take the trolls. I enjoy trolls the most because I can laugh about their funny comments. Okay, for me, this is. I also seek these YouTube channels sometimes where there are actually trolls, just to read the comments and laugh about them. Okay, this is something funny. This is something that I think. This is a positive side of the internet. Yeah, this sort of freedom of speech is a positive side of the internet. There's a lot of good jokes out there with a lot of black humor, man. And I don't I'm not like, oh no, this I can't stand, I'm offended by this at all. I'm open for everything, okay? When it comes, I feel like at the point where I'm at in life, I can't really take the world seriously a lot anymore. Yeah, for me, this is all just kind of fun and play anymore. I just do the stuff that I like. Okay, this is what I do. Sitting here in front of a freaking laptop, talking out into the internet. So who am I to be offended by something else? Yeah, it's just so hilarious to me. You know, the kind of times that we live in, and this is only one aspect of that. Yeah, there's so much more that we could talk about in this kind of context, but no, I'm not offended by any black humor at all. I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. I like it. More black humor, more trolls, more memes, and all that. Yeah. Gregory Hart says Ray vitamins. There are loads of vitamins and minerals in meat. Absolutely true. There's also vitamin C in meat, by the way. The animals are doing the plant eating for you. Yes, they do in a sense. I mean, ruminants just are able to digest this stuff. Yeah, it would be cool to have a ruminant stomach myself. But I'm telling you what, if you look at a ruminant and you look at a meat-eating animal like a cat or a wolf, like honestly, with whom of these animals do you have an easier time identifying yourself? Yeah. The ruminant standing on the freaking meadow like 10 hours a day and munching on grass, then sitting down, munching on grass again because they throw this stuff up and chew it again and swallow it down again. This is not really our style. Yeah. Our style is, more like the hunter kind of style. We set traps. We kind of like this stuff. Okay, we like to chase. We like to have this feeling of being smarter than this other animal that we're chasing, just like a hunter out in nature, okay? Like the wolves, like the cheetah and all these kind of stuffs. We're also pretty intelligent. Yeah, this is something that we can't really argue with. We are one of the most intelligent animals out there. Usually the more intelligent animals, they live a bit more of a complex life than standing on a freaking meadow 10 hours a day and munching on grass. This really does not take a lot of intelligent capacities, if we're honest with ourselves. Hunting other animals, tricking them, outsmarting them, setting traps, this is stuff that takes intelligence. And so I feel that as we are these human beings, pretty intelligent, it makes a lot of sense that we lean more towards a carnivorous diet than a grass-eating diet. Yeah. Nevertheless, I've said a very high carb, very low fat vegan diet can be also quite amazing in certain regards, especially when it comes to athletic performance and everything. But this is something that is completely separate from health. Yeah. The healthiest diet is not the same as the diet that leads to the most athletic performance. I've talked about this a lot previously. David says true. Michael Punkochar says trolls/bots mean the stream is already significant. Exactly, man. Supple One Man says, hey Manny, do you have advice on how to practice clipping without climbing? Mostly bouldering, and on the few occasions I go lead climbing, I get really limited by my clumsiness with the clipping. Yeah, you just simply hang a quick draw in front of you, and then you try to clip it as fast as possible with both hands, with both sides of the draw open. Okay, so you put the gate of the draw on both sides. Ideally, you have two draws hanging down, one gate on the right side, one gate on the left side. And then you clip as fast as possible with both hands, both draws a couple of times. This is how you train it, essentially. And then you're waiting for my freaking clipping technique episode where I explain all this stuff in a lot of detail. Once we can finally get the final shots done, I pray to the lords, I pray to the gods of climbing that I can finally get it done, man, and erase it from my freaking Final Cut Pro library where it has been sitting for such a long time. Sorry that it's taking too long. This is a really good video, clipping technique. It's coming out. It's coming out at some point. Smarnka says, I've tried multi-pitches during lockdown and got hooked. Tried alpine climbing as well, and now I'm in love. There's just a bigger thrill when you're hanging on a rope 200 meters above ground. True. The adventure factor of these things is amazing. Yeah, it's much more adventure than than sport climbing in that sense. Pascal says, hey Manny, do you have a favorite type of rock, and what or why do you like it? Yeah, East Austrian limestone, for example, I really like. I like it because it's so polished. You have to hold the hole super actively, super hard to read, super hard to on-site. A really good school for technique and precision and all that stuff in general. Yeah, that's why I like it. By the way, I love your new vids on the main channel. Oh, cool. Yeah, I put a bit more effort into them again. The motivation for video making is really high as well, because I don't know, I just want to kind of document the process of coming back a little, you know. That's just a fun thing to do for me, and it keeps myself accountable as well. As I said in the major comeback battle plan video, I want to document this stuff, yeah? And then we're gonna see, am I talking out of my ass all the time when I tell you there is this comeback boost? There is, you can make gains very quickly and come back to your old shape very quickly. Is it just a myth or is it true? Well, we're gonna see, because I'm gonna document it. I'm gonna make videos about it. I must say though, I mean, life is pretty dense at the moment. Yeah, I've also got this little one now in my life, and I have to take care of that as well. We will do our best. I cannot guarantee, that's what I want to say. I cannot guarantee that I can make these dense videos all the time and regularly. There's gonna be down times as well again, where I need to take maybe a week off of video making or something, because we have this or that meeting or whatever. Yeah. But I'm gonna try my best, man. I'm gonna try my best to execute, first of all, the comeback battle plan as quick as accurately as possible, and I wanna document it. So that's gonna be cool. Lieven de Lange says, hi Manny, loving the podcasts. Great to hear, man. Thanks. Short question. Is there a brand of pulley system you recommend for hangboarding? Your setup looked awesome. The one that I'm using, this orange little thing, where do I have it now? I think it's from Petzl. Yeah. If you give me a second, I will look it up. This one is really good because it has comparably little friction in the pulley, and then you can get the accurate weight measurement. Wait a second, guys. Oh my god. I must leave out my old body. Where do I have it? Pulley system, where are you? Let me look it up. Oh my god, now I need to bend down as well. Okay, my friends, we're back in the comfy chair. This is where we belong. There it is. So let's see what it says. Petzl. Made in France. Yeah, of course. Ouya. Okay, it doesn't really have a name on it. But it's from Petzl, okay? You should find this pretty easily. I think they use these stuffs for route setting, for alpine climbing, for all kinds of stuffs you can use this, okay? And I use it for hangboarding. The advantage is it goes onto pretty much any binder out there, and it's relatively low friction. And it takes quite a lot of weight, I must say. Much weight. So you can hang on there 2.5 kilonewton. Yeah, 2.5 kilonewton, 2.5 K. I think that's 250 kilograms, huh? If I'm not mistaken. And 23 kilograms in the upwards direction. Okay, that's pretty crazy. So 23 kilonewton, I should say. 23 kilonewton in the upwards direction. 2.5 kilonewton is the 250. Damn, I don't know the conversion from kilonewton to kilograms anymore. I'm a freaking noob. I entered a higher technical school. I should know. .5 kilonewton in kg. Let's see. Yeah, 250 kilonewton. I was correct. Okay, so that's pretty crazy because that means that in the upwards direction here, we can actually put 2,300 kilograms, right? Yeah, that's pretty true. So that should be enough for hangboarding, okay? Essentially, that's what I want to say. Yeah, this one I can really recommend. MC the Boss, aka Milan. What's up, man? What's your guilty pleasure? You eat no meat, drink no alcohol, smoke no weed. Where's the weakness? I eat meat. I eat meat now, okay? Don't think I'm vegan. Sorry, I've said it again and again. I'm not vegan anymore. The channel was called Vegan Rock Climbing, the main channel, that is. And I still have these old videos up because I think they've got a lot of educational value, actually, apart from the fact that the channel was called Vegan Rock Climbing. Now everybody thinks that I'm vegan, although I'm not anymore. Although I made a couple of videos telling people that I'm not anymore, but apparently these don't get through so much. I don't know. Trying my best to make this clear. I do eat meat. Yes, I drink almost no alcohol. I definitely don't smoke any weed. Okay. Where's the weakness? Where's the weakness? If I wouldn't do zero carb now, okay, then I would actually drink the one or the other beer occasionally. Yeah, I like beer. I also like nice live stream receptacles. Yeah, which are actually always beer glasses, and I like to drink beer out of these glasses sometimes if I'm not in a zero carb experiment right at the moment, which I am now. So now I don't even have this guilty pleasure. Where's the weakness, man? At the moment, I can't really think. That's crazy. It's crazy. I need to get a guilty pleasure again, man. I need to there's not enough guilty pleasure in my life, definitely at the moment. I was wanting to say making love to my loved ones, to my loved one. It's only one, okay. But that's not a guilty pleasure really, because we're together and we have a family and everything, and I think that's quite normal. So yeah, I don't smoke. I don't know, man. Usually I drink a cup of beer sometimes. That's my guilty pleasure. I'm gonna declare that now as a guilty pleasure. Smamka says, I've hung a quick draw next to the couch and clicked it every now and then while watching TV. A quick way of getting the grip. Cool method. Cameron Handler says, what do you know about getting a blood test to determine what's missing in your diet? I'm trying to find the most efficient diet for my body type. Well, what body type are you then? Can your blood test tell you your body type? Your body type is basically, how tall you are, how much kilograms you have for this kind of height and everything. If you're talking about the blood type diet or something, this is pretty much a scam, I would say. Most efficient diet for your body type. I'm not sure if there's so much discrepancy out there when it comes to diet. In terms of what would be the most ideal diet for everyone. I mean, we are all different, but we're still all the same animal, okay? We're all humans. And we're not gonna tell a freaking zebra that's a bit fatter than another zebra, okay, you need to eat more flowers of this flower, and you need to eat more flowers of this flower and a bit more grass. No, all freaking zebras eat freaking grass, okay? No matter if there is one zebra that's a little bit fatter and one a little bit leaner, yeah? And I'm tending towards the assumption that with humans it's about the same. Humans probably all have the same ideal diet, if that ever exists, yeah? And it's probably quite limited in carbs. It's not very high in carbs, although I would not exclude carbs altogether necessarily. Yeah, I think that if you can stomach carbs, if you have quite a strong constitution from the rest of your diet, you can supplement your diet with carbs very well, yeah, and get those little funky, crazy, powerful sessions that carbs allow you to have. The problem is the overabundance of carbs that we see in our modern civilization. This is what's causing problems. And we don't have the constitution anymore that these wild tribes out there have, with their excellent nutrition from wild animal foods. Yeah, we don't have this anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, we have to be a bit careful here. Yeah, I don't think there is such a thing as an ideal diet for one body type and then a completely different diet for another body type. Yeah. Gregory Hart, you want big diameter pulleys that run on ball bearings. You can get these from a yachting supply store. Might be cheaper than pedal, possibly. Yes, 250 kilos. Yeah. Jean Ramses says, more intelligent does not mean anything. The animals needs to escape to the carnivores and avoid your traps. Yeah, but it's just running away. Okay? Running away is comparably easy. You just go full force somewhere where there's open space. It's pretty easy. If you consider that intelligence is the mental way of surviving in your environment. Intelligence, first of all, is the ability to recognize patterns, in my opinion. But it's a different story. You need, of course, to recognize patterns if you want to set traps and if you want to hunt and everything. Every animal alive today is as much intelligent than the others. Well, you could argue that because it's alive, but you're saying just because an animal is alive today and has not gone in extinct yet, it is as intelligent as all the other animals that are alive today. No, that's not the case, man. Some animals are alive today because they have outstanding physical properties. They have outstanding physical abilities. Yeah, they are not super intelligent by all means, but they have amazing physical properties. I mean, you wouldn't attest a lot of intelligence to a freaking crocodile, right? Although they are probably not super dumb as well. Yeah, they do quite cool things. They kind of sneak up on animals which are waiting on the border of the ponds and everything. But I mean, these are freaking dinosaurs. Yeah, they have a huge body, strong body, and a super small brain, and they are very simply programmed. Nevertheless, they function still in today's world. But would you attest them a lot of intelligence? Yeah, they still set traps, they still hunt their animals down, so that requires actually decent amounts of intelligence, so that's why they're still here as well. But in the first sense, they are here because they are just massively strong and can rip apart a freaking gnu in half a second. Yeah, that's why they are still here, because of their physical abilities, not so much because of their huge intelligence. Yeah, so of course you can be very intelligent and very little physical abilities, or the other way around. Yeah, you just need to have some sort of existence justification. You have to bring something to the table of nature. Yeah, otherwise nature is gonna be merciless and it's gonna erase you from this planet. Gashmatep says WT is Wing Chun. Oh, nice. Nature is brutal and beautiful. I agree. But it's real and in balance, not that plastic BS world that makes so many into degenerated trolls. Very true. Like we unluckily had to witness tonight somehow. Yeah, man, we're in the internet here. That's totally okay, man. That's totally okay. Times kilonewton by 10 to get kilograms. True. You look a lot healthier since you stopped veganism. Yeah, this is true. If I look into my old videos where I was super chiseled and kind of sunken in cheeks, sunken in eyes, I was just simply too lean. Yeah, and I also had this kind of vegan look somehow. I had this vegan look, this kind of desperate, not so grounded, not so satisfied look. Although I can't really say I was super unhappy back then. I was pretty happy with what I was doing. I was getting pretty good results with my studies, with my climbing. I couldn't complain, really. I couldn't complain. But you could see it. You're absolutely correct. You could see it. And when I look back into my old videos, I can see it as well. Maybe I should make a comparison video at some point. putting side by sides of me from today versus back in the day. Okay, guys, we are reaching pretty much exactly 2 hours now, which is already longer than I had anticipated for this stream. So I would say that was an interesting stream, man. We talked a lot about nutrition. We talked a lot about ketosis. We talked also, as usual, about climbing and everything. We also talked about nature, about the ability to set traps and intelligence and all that really interesting stuff. What an interesting stream. Thanks for all the good questions, my friends. Crocodile are not dinosaurs. Birds are descending of dinosaurs. Yeah, crocodile are dinosaurs, man. Crocodiles are as well dinosaurs that made it into modern age. Look it up. They're coming from the freaking dinosaur age, whatever age that was. I'm a biologist, so I should know. But I the Pleistocene or something. I don't know. They are really old animals. They are freaking living. What's the name? They are living fossils. Living fossils. That's what they are. But they are pretty cool. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the stream, my friends. It was a great pleasure for me, at least, to do it and to answer these questions. Also, even the non-climbing related questions. Amazing non-climbing related questions as well. Thanks for those as well. Drop a like on the stream. That's always helpful. I would really appreciate that. And as far as I can see, I can already announce the next stream is going to be on next Sunday, 21 in the PM, 21 o'clock in the PM, same time, same place. I hope you're gonna check in there as well. That would be awesome. Gather some questions and throw them in the chat. I would be very eager to answer them. And I will do my best to timestamp this stream in the meantime. And I also gotta be honest with you, I still have to timestamp a couple of minutes of the previous stream. Yeah. So this is something that I still have to do as well. This is something that I still have to complete. My friends, I think I gotta go now. I gotta refill also the live stream receptacle with a bit of mineral water. As you can see, let's finish it. It's funny how I always put the right amount of mineral water into the receptacle so that I get through a stream. Amazing, huh? All right, so yeah, I think we'll see you next time, my friends. Good night. Stay cool, stay strong, keep crushing. We're living crazy times. Enjoy it. Take it with a bit of humor. Don't be offended, okay? Just because someone said something bad. If I stopped doing what I do every time someone said something stupid to me, I wouldn't sit here anymore, okay? All this would have had gone down a different road, yeah? So don't let yourself be stopped by stupid comments or stuff like that. Enjoy it, okay? Make fun about it. It's really just a fun times that we live in, yeah? Crazy and fun times. My friends, stay strong. I've rambled enough. Bye.